Well, good morning. It's Wednesday, April 15th, and this is Pam. Welcome to the reading of the Record Courier. We begin today's reading with area deaths. Randall T. Kiley, age 60, of Miamisburg, passed away on Saturday, April 11, 2020. A memorial service may be planned for a future date. Thelma Thompson Nipper has gone to live with the Lord on Easter Sunday, April 12th. A private family burial took place at Drakesburg Cemetery in Freedom Township. A public celebration of life will be held at a later date. Jerry E. Seibert, 73, passed away April 7 at Western Reserve Hospital. Per his wishes, cremation has taken place and private graveside services and a celebration of life will be held at a later date. This concludes the reading of the Record Courier Wednesday area death notices. Now for our first article. Portage County plans $1.7 million in road work by staff report. The Portage County Engineer's Office is preparing to resurface nearly 15 miles of county roads this year, the largest number of miles of road the county has resurfaced in many years. Engineer Michael Marosi recently got approved from Portage County Commissioners to advertise for construction bids for the county's resurfacing program, which will be done in 2 phases. He said the work is made possible because of a recent gas tax increase for local governments, as well as permissive license plate fees increase a couple of years ago. The work includes the resurfacing of Sunnybrook Road from Old Forge Road to Talmadge Road, Industry Road from Waterloo Road to Route 224, Diagonal Road from Mennonite Road to Manawa Center Road, Cook Road from Industry Road to New Milford Road, Ranfield Road from Old Forge Road to Talmadge Road, Newton Falls Road from Hannah Road to Rock Spring Road, and Congress Lake Road from Swartz Road to Waterloo Road. Marosi said that the engineer's estimate to resurface all of these roads is $1,743,250. According to Larry Jenkins, assistant county engineer, the work included in these contracts is primarily to resurface the roads with a layer of new asphalt. However, full and partial depth repairs will be made where needed, and then a new surface course of asphalt will be installed. The road berms will be graded and then treated with recycled asphalt. Jenkins said the contractor will then apply center and edge line striping. The work is expected to be completed by fall. However, the public can expect some delays while the contractor's milling and paving operations are going on. The second phase of the county's resurfacing program includes 3.1 miles of Infirmary Road from Route 303 to Mennonite Road. Jenkins said the county is still finalizing plans for this phase. He said both projects will be paid for out of the county engineer's regular budget, which is mostly comprised of license plate fees and gas tax revenues. Residents who have any questions or concerns about these projects can contact Larry Jenkins at the county engineer's office, 330-296-6411. Our next article is titled, Portage County Judge Reprimanded for Drunken Driving Last Year, by Eileen McClory, reporter. The Ohio Supreme Court has publicly reprimanded Portage County Common Pleas Judge Becky Doherty for a February 2019 drunken driving incident and for repeatedly reminding the arresting Brimfield officer that she is a judge. The board, comprised of Ohio Supreme Court Justices Sharon L. Kennedy, Judith L. French, Patrick F. Fisher, R. Patrick DeWine, Michael P. Donnelly, and Melody J. Stewart, issued the opinion. The board also stated that a judge's repeated non-responsive statements about being a judge during the judge's arrest is an abuse of the prestige of the office, even when they are born of the lip-loosening effect of alcohol, the opinion reads. The board posted its decision on Tuesday morning. Ohio Supreme Court Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor did not participate in the case. The board acknowledged Doherty had no prior criminal record and had pleaded guilty and apologized for her actions within the week. The board also found that she had not acted with a dishonest or selfish motive and had made a timely good faith effort to rectify her misconduct by pleading guilty and publicly apologizing for her behavior, the opinion states. Doherty made her guilty plea at her first court appearance following the February 10, 2019 incident. "Please accept my apologies and regret for my conduct," she said to the media in a prepared statement after the hearing. Doherty crashed a 2016 GMC SUV off an on-ramp on eastbound Interstate 76 near Route 43 about 9:15 p.m. on February 10, 2019. When the arresting Brimfield officer approached her car and opened the car door, there was vomit on the inside of the driver's side door. The road was snowy and icy during the incident, according to the crash report and videos, which showed Doherty repeatedly asking the officer if he knows who she is and telling him she is a judge. Doherty was taken to the Brimfield police station after the crash. She was arrested for driving while intoxicated, a first-degree misdemeanor, after she refused to complete field sobriety tests and refused to take a breathalyzer test. She told an officer several times that she was drunk during the interaction, according to body cam video taken by the Brimfield Police Department. Doherty pleaded guilty to operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol, a first-degree misdemeanor, her first drunken driving offense. Judge Kevin Poland heard the case and sentenced Doherty to 180 days in Portage County Jail with 177 days suspended and a $1,075 fine with $700 suspended, as long as she had no further alcohol violations for the next 2 years, completes a 72-hour driver intervention program, and operates under the terms of her license being suspended for 1 year. An attorney representing Doherty in the Supreme Court hearing declined to comment. Doherty is running against Ravenna attorney Michael Noble for her Common Pleas Court seat in November. Noble has filed as an independent, and Doherty is a Republican. Our next article, Stowe Nursing Home Confirms Residents Has Coronavirus, by Sean McDonald, Beacon Journal. In Stowe Glen Retirement Village announced on social media that one of its residents has tested positive for coronavirus. The retirement home said one resident was transported to the hospital and subsequently tested positive. In a Facebook post on Monday night, Stowe Glen said it wanted to be transparent during the pandemic, but that the staff had to have time to call and alert residents, family, and staff members before releasing the information. It comes with a heavy heart that I share with you that Stowe Glen has a resident in the nursing home that was sent to the hospital and subsequently tested positive for COVID-19, the post read. This resident remains in the hospital at this time. Stowe Glen's CEO and administrator Tammy Denton said they are unable to share more information about the case, including when the resident was sent to the hospital, their age, or their gender because of federal privacy laws. She said 217 residents currently live on the campus. Denton said no one is self-isolating, but a number of staff are self-monitoring. All residents who are new to the facility and those being readmitted will be placed in a transition room where they are closely monitored for 14 days for any signs of symptoms of COVID-19, Denton said. She said the person who tested positive was in one of those rooms, which are separate from the general population. Stowe Glen says it is working with public health officials to determine who may have come into contact with the resident. Since March 14, Denton said the campus has been closed to visitors as part of a series of precautions. Stowe Glen is just the second long-term care facility in Summit County to disclose a positive COVID-19 test. Ohio Living Rockinghall announced a case in March in Akron. The Stowe Glen news comes after Ohio Department of Health Director Dr. Amy Acton signed an order Monday to require all long-term care facilities to notify residents and their families within 24 hours of a resident or staff member testing positive for COVID-19. A full list, including the number of patients at each facility, will be available on the state's coronavirus website as soon as Tuesday. Summit County Public Health also told the Beacon Journal on Monday that nursing homes with cases would be identified after the health department initially denied a public records request on Friday. Acton cautioned that COVID-19 outbreaks in nursing homes should not be blamed on the facilities. Acton said there's a lot of stigma and fear around nursing home outbreaks, noting some vendors wouldn't even deliver food to a Dayton area facility with confirmed cases. Media, including the Akron Beacon-Journal, had pressured local and state officials to release details about which nursing homes had confirmed cases of COVID-19 last week. Our next article is titled, Kent State Announces Virtual Commencement by Staff Report. Kent State University's spring 2020 graduates will be recognized virtually this year, but will be invited back to campus for an in-person ceremony when it is deemed safe to do so. On Tuesday, the university announced that it would hold virtual spring commencement ceremonies for both undergraduate and graduate students on May 9th. Kent State will also host the College of Podiatric Medicine, Karamu Ya Wahitimu Celebration de las Graduation, and Lavender Graduation virtually. More information regarding these ceremonies will be forthcoming. The virtual commencement for all spring graduates does not replace the in-person commencement ceremony, which will be held at a later yet-to-be-determined date. During the virtual ceremony at 11 a.m., students will hear from Kent State President Todd Diason, Interim Senior Vice President and Provost Melody Tankersley, and college and campus deans. Students will receive individual name recognition and participate in the conferral of degrees and tassel turning ceremony. To participate in the virtual commencement, graduating students are being asked to complete their ceremony RSVP by Thursday, April 16 to confirm their participation. All students who RSVP to participate in commencement will receive a commencement package so that they are ready to go on commencement day. These packages will include a copy of commencement program, mortarboard, tassel, alumni pin, diploma cover, honors cords for eligible graduates, and hoods for doctoral graduates. In accordance with Governor Mike DeWine's order to prohibit large gatherings due to COVID-19, Kent State previously announced it is postponing all in-person spring commencement ceremonies and pre-commencement celebrations. May 4, 1970 victims Dean Keller and Thomas Grace were originally scheduled to speak during the One University undergraduate ceremony on May 9th and the advanced degree ceremony on May 8th, respectively. University spokesperson Emily Vincent said that they would likely invite Keller and Grace to speak on campus at a later time. For more information about the virtual commencement recognition ceremony, ceremony participation, diploma mailings, and more, visit www.kent.edu/commencement. Field follows through on campaign promise. By Krista S. Cano, reporter. In May 2019, as Field Local Schools was trying to pass two new high millage levies, Superintendent David Helflinger repeatedly told voters that the additional money would be used to maintain the district as it was. The only exception, he said, was the $1 million designated for permanent improvements that would be used to fix the main campus's pothole-filled parking lot. The district took a step forward in keeping that promise on Monday night when the Board of Education awarded the project to the Stowe-based Carvo companies. Carvo's base bid was $2,044,601.33, with a $33,208.75 alternate. We are really happy with how this came in. Our design firm, OHM, told us to expect $2.6 to $2.8 million. The highest bid was $2.6 million and change, and we're going with the contractor just under $2.1 million. We think that's fantastic, Helflinger said. The district put out the bid specifications prior to statewide school closure. They asked that preliminary work start in May, but that actual construction begins after the last day of school, June 4th. The district also decided that there would be no summer events so that work would not be disrupted and pushed back their normal first day of school till mid-September. Now we may end up in a situation where the governor closes the school for the rest of the year. We could be in a position to give them access much sooner, so they could begin when they're able. If it's before when they've planned, fantastic, Helflinger said. He added that construction could begin prior to Governor DeWine's reopening the state, as infrastructure and building projects are considered essential. We're very excited to finally be able to tackle this parking lot project. It's been needed to be done for years, and we are so happy to now have the resources that we can get it done for the community, he said. Our next article is titled, 4 Portage Businesses Are Warned to Close by Diane Smith, reporter. 4 Portage County businesses have received warning letters from the Portage County Health District for violating Ohio's stay-at-home order and staying open during the coronavirus pandemic. Becky Lehman, Public Information Officer for the Health District, said Tuesday afternoon that the letters were issued to Nelson Ledges Quarry Park in Nelson, 10 Point Crossbow Technologies in Mogadore, Gabe's in Franklin Township, and Cool Lake Campground in Garrettsville. The Nelson, Mogadore, and Garrettsville businesses could not be immediately reached for comment. Lehman said that the warnings were issued after the district determined the businesses are non-essential and that the final step would be to issue a formal citation if they do not close. In addition, the Health District, in cooperation with the Portage County Sheriff's Office, also issued Gabe's a notice of violation for operating without a food establishment license and cited the business for failing to comply with the amended stay-at-home order and operating without a food establishment license, Lehman said. Gabe's also has been the subject of complaints for its store in Akron, where the discount retailer kept its store open despite an order from Summit County Public Health to close after the agency determined the business was non-essential. The retailer says it sells essential goods at its Akron store and offers consumers another shopping option during the pandemic. The Kent store was still open for business as of Tuesday. Summit County Public Health Environmental Health Director Tanya Burford said that after an initial inspection April 7, public health employees have visited the Akron store multiple times, including Monday. We have ordered them to close, and they are refusing, Burford said. They feel they are essential, and we feel they are not. The retailer, formerly known as Gabriel Brothers, which is represented by law firm Benesch, Freelander, Copeland, Aronoff, argues it's essential because it sells food and household items, including boxed, shelf-stable foods and dry goods, bottled beverages, first aid supplies, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, scrubs, and baby and pet care items. Gabe's Senior Vice President of Marketing, Leigh Goldig, said as an off-price retailer, the company has changed its inventory to respond to the pandemic, and it's shipping only essential products to the stores twice a week. Stores have rearranged their displays with essential items located near the front, she said. But Burford said the amount of essential supplies the store sells is minimal, adding the food is crackers and candy. She said Summit County Public Health is looking at the bulk of someone's business to decide if they meet the intent of the order, and it's our opinion they do not. Adding the bulk of Gabe's business is a clothing or general merchandise retailer. Lehman said the Portage County Health District has received 515 calls related to the pandemic, and 255 were complaints about businesses possibly in violation of the stay-at-home order. Most of the callers, she said, complained that businesses were not providing hand sanitizer or a means for employees to wash hands, or not providing provisions for social distancing practices by failing to direct people to be at least 6 feet apart. The health district, she said, conducted 29 in-person inspections and issued letters to 4 businesses. Mary Helen Smith, Director of Environmental Health for the Portage County Health District, said the agency tries to work with businesses. As we work through the process of calling businesses and organizations, we are finding out that they are ready to provide us their determination of how they are an essential business, she said. If deemed essential, we work with them to ensure they are following the required measures that businesses must take to meet the minimum basic operations for social distancing and employee health. Lehman said the Portage Health District, following the guidance of the Ohio Department of Health and the Portage County Prosecutor's Office, set up a process for responding to complaints. After the health district receives calls or complaints, the district staff follows up with a phone call and goes through a verification process to ensure that the business meets essential criteria outlined in the state's stay-at-home order. In most cases, she says, the situation is resolved with the phone call. If a business deems non-essential, continues to operate, a warning letter is issued in person, and a citation is issued as a final step. The Ohio Department of Health also has set up a dispute resolution board if the matter is not resolved. Our next article, football. Always bleeding purple. Ravenna senior A.J. Lunardi commits to Mount Union by Jonah Rosenblum, staff writer. A.J. Lunardi's blood runs purple. His father Jim played football for the Purple Raiders. His mother Tricia also went to Mount Union. Her parents never gave up their Purple Raiders season tickets, bringing A.J. to games throughout his childhood. Having watched so many of their games in Alliance, Lunardi, a Ravenna senior linebacker, will now try to play in them, committing to play football at Mount Union. It's always been a part of our life, said Jim Lunardi, who is the athletic director and longtime head football coach at Ravenna. Every year we get ready to go to a football camp. We're always going to Mount Union. And when he was old enough, he would go with me, and he'd stay in the dorm with me and be like a ball boy and helping set up drills and stuff like that when we were down at Mount. So it's been in his blood, I guess. Lunardi visited 2 other schools. One was Mount Union's longtime rival, John Carroll. It would be like going to Count Roosevelt for us, Jim Lunardi said, quipped. The other is another one of Mount Union's future foes, Westminster. Lunardi enjoyed the visits, relishing the chance to compare the 3 different schools, but the Purple Raiders were always the clubhouse leader. He just wanted to help with what's made us, who we are as a family here, Jim Lunardi said. Between my wife and I, we just bleed purple, and it's very important to us, and we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for Mount Union. It didn't hurt that Mount Union has a top-notch criminal justice program, given Lunardi is interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement. While at Mount Union, he is also planning on getting involved in ROTC. I always had like a set place that I felt I was most comfortable with, Lunardi said, even though I felt like there's other colleges that were competing with the quality that Mount had. It just didn't feel like home. Lifelong linebacker. Just like Mount Union has always been a part of Lunardi's life, so has football. When did he start the gridiron? I don't even remember, Lunardi said. It was pretty early. Lunardi spent some of his early years in Garrettsville as a stand-up defensive end, but played mainly at linebacker. Moving to Ravenna to play under his father in high school, Lunardi played freshman and JV as a freshman, then JV and varsity special teams as a sophomore. He became a varsity starter as a junior, earning first-team All-Portage Trail Conference Metro Division honors at linebacker each of his final 2 years of high school. As a senior, Lunardi compiled 73 tackles, 8 for loss, including a 10-tackle performance against Roosevelt, all while leading Ravenna's offense as quarterback. After pitch hitting under center late his junior season for the Ravens, Lunardi was the focal point of their offense in 2019, passing for 814 yards and 10 touchdowns, and rushing for 642 yards and 11 touchdowns. While his career under center is likely over, he is expected to play linebacker and perhaps snapper for the Purple Raiders. He learned plenty from it. What I've taken personally from playing both sides of the ball, they both go hand in hand, Lunardi said. Like as a quarterback, you have to know the defense. You have to know what they're playing, what coverage, who's blitzing, what lineman is rushing, and stuff like that. So having a great IQ of the game of football is important. Indeed, his father learned a similar lesson once upon a time. I'm a defensive-minded person, but I felt like a really well-rounded football coach when I went to the offensive side of the ball within my career and started to really understand the constructs of an offense and how to call plays and formation and what's best here or there, Jim Lunardi said. I became a more rounded football coach. I think the same would be said for AJ as a football player. Making his way to the Mount. As Lunardi's high school career progressed, his vision for the future developed. Like many kids, he cycled through dreams of playing college, even of playing in the NFL. But he increasingly found himself thinking about the college he grew up on, Mount Union. From freshman years through senior, I had a roller coaster of feelings for where I best fit in the world, Lunardi said. At the end of my senior year, I wanted to continue my career at the collegiate level with my academics and also playing for such a great program such as Mount. So I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do, and that's how I'm going to do it. And if I was going to go anywhere, I want to go there. Since committing to Mount Union, the future Purple Raiders player has gotten plenty of advice from a former Purple Raiders player in his father, namely that the work is just the beginning. Committing is an achievement. Now the journey begins. You're talking about 200 kids on a team, and when it boils down, maybe they're down to 175, but 11 guys play at one time on that football field, Jim Lunardi said. You have to do something, and I keep expressing to him, you have to do something that sets yourself apart from everybody else. During his playing days, Jim set himself apart in the weight room. He recalled that Mount Union had a weightlifting challenge in which all of the players below 185, Lunardi included, had to bench 185 pounds as many times as possible. Lunardi won the competition. That right away set me apart from the rest of the kids in the group, Jim Lunardi said. So you have to do things to set you apart from the pack. You have to be that alpha male. And if you can't be the alpha male, then unfortunately, you definitely don't want to be the beta. A.J. Lunardi is fine with that. He knows better than most what the expectations are at a powerhouse like Mount Union. Mount is the top program, Lunardi said. They want to be the best and they're going to train the best, and that's what I liked about them. Our next article is titled Portage County Crime Reports by staff reporter. Crime reports are a sample of incidents responded to by the local law enforcement agencies. They are not intended to be all-inclusive. Brimfield. A 53-year-old Brimfield man was charged with failing to control a dog, a minor misdemeanor, after an incident on April 2. A hearing was scheduled. In Kent, a 40-year-old Kent man was charged with criminal mischief, a second-degree misdemeanor, after allegedly tampering with someone else's Saturn on April 7th on East Grant Street. A summons was issued. Mantua Township, a 22-year-old Mantua Township was charged with criminal damaging or endangering a second-degree misdemeanor after allegedly damaging a 2018 Honda on Route 82 on April 2. A hearing was scheduled. Well, friends, this concludes the reading of the Record Courier for Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. This is Pam saying please keep yourself safe and make it a great day.